An exuberant celebration followed the defeat of the dragon. Men and women danced in the streets and children laughed and sang. The final battle had cost the people dearly, but now it was time to celebrate. Prince Thorald named the heroes honorary prince and princesses of Andor. And according to the chronicles of our people, the keepers of the Tree of Songs, the land of Andor enjoyed many days of peace. There was a golden autumn and the air was mild and warm. But then the first of many storms began to sweep across the land, and the approaching winter stretched out its ice-cold fingers. Gores and trolls raided farms, devouring cattle, and many a helpless farmer. How could the brave people of Andor harvest the grain from the fields when they might be attacked at any moment? At this point, alas, the chronicles end. Only a few fragmentary reports of various authors continue the tale. You mean the tale about the heroes of Andor defeated the ancient fire spirit, right? Oh, Gisela, you still have a lot to learn. These were turbulent times, and many contradictory reports have been passed down to us. You will not find the full truth in any one of them. Some reports tell of mighty catapults and siege towers. Others mention that the heroes demolished the Dark Temple to its very foundation, seeking to put an end to its evil magic. In one of the tablets of the Shield Dwarves, it says that Urlach, the horror from the secret sea, escaped from the mines. It seems unimaginable today that any such creature ever existed, but nobody really knows any longer what really happened. But Master, what about the Star Shield? The shield that holds the light of the stars and hope. That must have existed, right? Yes, all the reports agree that the heroes did succeed in finding the Star Shield before it fell into the hands of the Dark Mage, and that is why even today we call this part of the history the Era of the Star Shield. Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we are going to have a blast from the past and play Legends of Andor with the Star Shield expansion. I'm going to do this specific scenario since it is one of the most replayable ones. So you might be saying, Colin, what the heck? 2018, you were playing the Legends of Andor The Last Hope, the third box expansion for this game. Why are you bringing this back now? What's the difference? Well, I think for me, the biggest difference is that I'm going to be playing this all in one session instead of trying to break it up like I did before. And when I was doing that before, I had extended breaks and I couldn't remember what I was doing. And I wasn't even living at my own house at that time because we were building a new house. Yeah, so I'm giving this game another shot because I think there's a lot of parts of this game that I do really, really like. And so I want to have a good playthrough of this on the channel. Right now in the US, this game is not that expensive. And so if you like what you see, you could try and pick it up. That's what I'm doing. I did end up actually getting everything for Legends of Andor again, and I'm hoping to play through it all outside of the channel. But I definitely wanted to do this one, and I think I want to do one from the first expansion as well. So with that, let's go ahead and do a really quick setup, because the setup is actually pretty light in this game, and then jump right in. One of the parts I do like the most about this game is how detailed they are on all the things you need to do to set up. So you're going to go and open the book to page 4 from the Star Shield expansion. It's going to show you where to put all the fog tokens just like normal. You've got your wells. There's 4 wells on the board. You've got your event deck. It shows you all the different tokens that you potentially could need. Make sure to just get all of those out. You don't know which ones you're going to use because there's actually a lot of randomization in this game. And by this game, I mean this specific scenario, and that all has to do with your Legends deck, which is pretty cool. You want to make sure to grab all the tokens of our players. We're going to be playing a 3-player game for this. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. I tried to play with 4 characters. I think I was overwhelmed. 3 I think is good. I think I'll get just as good of experience with 3 as to 4, and then I'm not trying to remember all the different abilities for 4 different characters. We're going to have planned events at C, and then at G, and then all the way at N. We are going to, since this is the first time, I will say I haven't actually ever played this expansion, so this is going to be the first time I'm playing it. Probably going to lose, but that's okay. I'm going to place the wolf symbol here. It sounds like normally you would just roll a die and see what you roll, and that's where you'll place the wolves. But for our first one, we'll place it there. And then, of course, we have our checklist card. And on your own, what you can do is you can just walk through all of this and make sure you set everything up. It's going to state things like, hey, make sure you put your willpower at 7 for each character. We'll see that in a second. But also do all these general setups as well. Now, what's great about this scenario is there's tons of different cards in it that every time you play, it'll change a little bit of the story. At least that's how I understand it. Like I said, I haven't played. We have only one A1, but we have 5 A2s, we have 5 A3s, and we're going to be choosing one of each of those. So I've done that. There's only one A4, there's only one C, there you choose one of 4 Gs, and there's only one N. Since this is the first game, I'm not going to play with the E, and you know what? If you're going to play this on your own, you can certainly put that in for an additional challenge. Since I haven't played this game since 2018, I don't think I need an additional challenge. Down here, we've got all the additional cards that you will have. You just place them on the side of the board. You'll also want to set up your equipment board. We've got our shields, we've got some wineskins, our falcon, we have a bow, helm, and we have our telescope. We also have our witch, and then it tells you the cost of the brew is dependent upon the characters, the amount of characters. So we're playing with 3 characters, so it'll be 4 gold. As I said, we're going to be playing with 3 characters. I'm choosing one from the base game, I'm choosing one from the 5-6 additional heroes expansion, and I'm choosing one from the Dark Heroes expansion, so that way you guys can see some of the different heroes. So this one is from, I think it's the 5 and 6 player expansion. This is Fenna. She's a tracker from the Southern Forest. Her special ability is Fenna has 3 articles that only she can carry. She can use each article once per day. She'll start at the 1 strength point and 7 willpower points. Each of these she can use once per day. She can use this horn in 1 battle round. Then she and all other heroes fighting with her are allowed to reroll their dice in an attack. Here, Fenna can use the knife in 1 battle round, then she's allowed to reroll one of her dice again. Finally, we have the Raven over here. Fenna can use the Raven to uncover all covered tokens on any space. Pretty cool, and she can use that once per day. Then we have Pasco, the archer from the Watchful Woods. His special ability is each battle round, Pasco rolls his dice 1 at a time and decides when to stop rolling. Only his final roll counts. He can also attack a creature from an adjacent space, so he essentially already has the bow item. 7 willpower, 1 strength point, and he should be all set to go, and he's from the base game. Finally, we have 4, the Half Scrawl, rank 37. Cool, Half Scrawl. Special ability. When Ford moves 1 space in the direction of an arrow or along the Old Dwarf Road, she can surrender 1 willpower point instead of 1 hour for this step. In a battle, Ford totals up equal dice values for which she does not need to have a helm. So essentially she has a helm. Creatures that move onto her space are advanced to the next space in the direction of the arrow. So normally they can move onto our space and they won't get pushed, because you can have one of each type of character on the board, or I should say on the space, but for her, she's essentially considered an enemy, so then they jump over her. 7 willpower points, 1 strength point, we're good to go. I've made sure I've done all of these items on the checklist. Let's go ahead and read A1, the Era of the Star Shield. We've already done both of these steps. Let's go ahead and start reading. According to legend, the Star Shield went missing after the Troll Wars. Yet, as the era of the Star Shield began, there were rumors making the rounds that this powerful object might still be found. So when the dangers intensified, the heroes went in search of the shield. People said that this shield offered hope in times of the greatest need. The exact details of this period can only be vaguely discerned today, but all reports agree that everything began on a golden day in autumn. The air was warm and the woodland mushrooms were ripe. Roll a red die to determine the position of 3 woodland mushrooms, adding 50 to each roll. Place the token face down on the game board, spaces matching those numbers. The woodland mushrooms can be collected and placed on the part of the hero board intended for gold. Their number value can be used for purchases just like gold, but only for from the merchants on spaces 18 and 71, so not space 57. Then we need to roll a red die for the tens digit and a hero die for the ones digit to determine the position of the 5 of the 6 rune stones. I'll do that all off camera and show you that shortly. Let's move to legend card A2. The hero with the lowest rank places his time on the marker on the rooster in the sunrise box. This will mean Fenna will be our first player because she has a rank of 22 compared to 25 and 37 of Pasco and 4 respectively. The creatures were no longer under the control of the dragon, but the approach of winter had ushered forth a new master, hunger. A great horde of Gors sailed forth and laid siege to Reitburg's castle. Their attack appeared imminent. Place Gors in these locations, the scrolls and the trolls. Roll 1 die and add 20 to the result to determine the position of 1 scroll. General rule of placement for all creatures. When a space is already occupied by a creature, the new creature is moved in the direction of the arrows. Okay. Then we have task. The heroes must protect the castle and prevent the creatures from overwhelming its defenses. The number of creatures required to overtake the castle depends upon the number of players. We know what that is because we're playing with 3 characters, and I'll show you that in a second. We'll place all hero figures on the castle. The heroes were gathered in the throne room. "There is no trace of the prince," said one of them in a tone of concern. "According to the rumors, there is a countrywoman he visits often. Her farm is far away by the foot of the mountains. Perhaps we might find him there." Place parchment tokens face down on the following letters of the legend's track. And we're going to do 3 players, J, K, L, and N. When the narrator reaches one of those letters, uncover the parchment line upon it. The sum of all the parchment number values indicates the number of the space on which the prince can be found. Oh, okay. Place a star on space 64 and have the tracking the prince clue card ready. When a hero is standing on space 64, this card is read aloud and the heroes learn how the parchments can be uncovered ahead of time. Cool. Prince Thorald's task. The heroes must find the prince and take him with them to the castle before the narrator reaches the end quest. Okay, so this is the second part that we need to do. Place the ring marker in the sunrise box. Note, many threats in the sunrise box become activated by a certain symbol. You can use the ring later on to mark this symbol. The farmers can hear the wolves howling at night. Place 1 farmer token on each of the spaces 28 and 40. Roll 1 red die to determine when the wolves enter the game, but we're going to have it at B because we're doing our first one. Place the wolf symbol on the legend's track, space matching the rolled value. Wait until the narrator reaches this space before reading aloud the wolves are coming card. Note, if other legend cards are activated at the same time, the wolves are coming card is read first. For their valued services in aid for Andor, the heroes receive 4 powerful artifacts from the people. Equipment. The group of heroes may now take 3 of the 4 new articles. That function of new articles can be found on the Gifts of Andori card. Oh, we'll look at that in a second. Each hero starts with 2 strength points. Oh, nice. With the group of heroes also gets an extra 2 strength points and 3 gold. Wow, that's amazing. And so began the era of the Star Shield. The hero whose time markers line in the rooster will begin the game. I should also mention the way that we're going to win this legend. Here's our goals. We need to defend the castle, just as normal. We need to complete the prince's tasks, and that was on card A3. And for us, that means we need to find the prince and take them with him to the castle before the narrator reaches the end space. And then our third goal is to fend off the threat, which is determined by the C card. So we don't know what that one is, but at least we know a bit of what we need to do. I decided to give the Andorian flute to Fenna. The Andorian flute can be used once per day. It states that a hero using the flute rolls 1 of their hero dice. The hero gets the rolled value in willpower points, as do all other heroes standing on the same space or an adjacent space. Then we flip this over. So then we have to flip it over because we can only use it once per day. And we can't use that in conjunction with the Witch's Brew. We also gave her 1 of our additional strength points. So we all started with 2 now instead of 1, and then we had 2 that we could share from a common pool. So I gave it to her, so she has 3 strength. I gave the other strength point to Pasco, so Pasco also is at a 3. He is going to have the Horned Falcon. Once per day, a hero can use the Horned Falcon just like an ordinary falcon. That would be to be able to send items to another character that's not in their space. Or you can use it once in a battle round after they roll their dice, but before the adversary rolls their dice. Then that creature only rolls 1 die in that battle round instead of however many dice they would normally roll. After that, then you flip them over and you can't use them until the next round. And you can never use this against a threat. We also did give him 1 of the 3 gold. For here, we gave 2 gold since we did not give her a strength point because you can buy strength points for 2 gold. So I thought, that's a pretty good way of mitigating the fact that I didn't give her any of that additional strength. She's also going to have the hourglass. This is a once per day. A hero can use the hourglass to move any hero's time marker 3 hours back on the time track. Then the hourglass is flipped to its rear side. And that's also once per day. You can only do 1 hero at a time. You can't do, 2 time now and then 1 time later. You've got to wait until someone has 3 time that you can use to push them back by that 3 time. The final item that we did not choose, although it looks cool, but you just can't pick all of them, is the Torch of Cavern. That's a hero who's standing on a space together with a creature can use the torch to move this creature to any adjacent space. However, that space has to be open. There can be no other creatures that are standing on it. Then the torch is flipped onto its rear side, and you can never use that against threats. There's a lot to see on this board. Oh my gosh, the amount of setup we had to do. We've got farmers over here. We've got some of the gores over here. The 2 scrolls came out over here. We've got all of our rune stones that we can find. Our mushrooms are up there. Spot 64 is where we can go to learn maybe a little more about the whereabouts of where the prince is. We've got our 3 parchments up there on the track as noted. We all are starting here in the castle. And I do want to mention, since we're playing a 3-player game, if we get a total of 3 monsters into the castle, or 3 creatures, we lose the game. But that's where these farmers can come into handy, because if we can bring them back to the castle, they'll allow us to let more creatures into the castle without us losing. So with that, I think we are ready to start. I am excited. Let's go ahead and start off with Fenna. We have one of 3 options that we can do on each of our turns. We can move, we can do a battle if we're in the same space as a creature, or we can rest and simply do nothing and just spend an hour of our day. We also can, of course, just say we're done with our day, and that would then put our time token back into the sunrise spot on the board, and then we won't activate until the next day. There's also free actions that you can do, and we're going to do one right now. We're lucky. I'm going to pretend that I did this on purpose, but I didn't. We're going to use our flute right away. This is not going to cost us our action. This is a free action to use our item. We're going to flip this over, and we're going to roll a die and gain willpower equal to whatever that number is. And what's great is all of the heroes are in the same spot, so we'll all gain that same amount of willpower. That's why it's really nice she went first. We'll grab her orange die, and it's a 1, because, why would we want it to be really high? That's going to push everybody to an 8 for willpower. Yay, a 1. Now, if you look here, we have 2 gores that are literally within 1 to 2 spaces away from our castle. How this works is creatures are going to move at the beginning of the next day, and if ever, so let's say we follow these arrows, because that's what they do, if this one moved, it would actually move straight into the castle, and then the next round, the other one's going to go in there. So we've got 2 creatures really close. However, if I kill them, we're going to be pushing up the narrator track. I'm not sure I want to do that. That's why I think I'm going to go ahead and start going towards one of the farmers. I think I'm going to spend 1 hour of my day to come right over here, and we have a well here. We're going to go ahead and drink up from that well and gain 3 willpower points. That will cost us 1 hour, so we'll place our token here. We were at 8 willpower. 1, 2, 3. We're now at 11. 4 is going to spend 2 of her time to move 2 spaces. So we'll place her time tracker here, and we're going to have her move 1, 2 to this location. Now, because we've ended our movement here, we can flip over this gemstone, and we have a green gemstone. The gemstones, what they do is if you are holding 3 different colored gemstones, you can replace one of your dice that you roll during combat with a black die. The black dice are awesome because their lowest number on them, I believe, is a 6. Yeah, so they're way better, and yeah, you can get all the way to a 12. So having someone to try and get those 3 different colored gemstones, kind of cool. So she can pick this up if she wants. I think she's going to. Pasco is also going to use just 1 time. We'll set this here, and he's going to move 1 space. He's going to move into this location right here, and because he's ending his turn in an area with a fog token, we're going to flip it face up. Oh, and he got a wineskin. What a wineskin does is when a hero chooses the move action, he can use each side of the wineskin token to move 1 space without having to move his time marker on the time track. After that initial use, he'll flip it over, and then the second time you use it, you'll discard it. Fog tokens have good things, bad things. They'll have enemies, but they'll also have the witch. And if I have Pasco find the witch, he can potentially buy a witch's brew, which is super helpful for combat at a little bit of a cheaper cost because he is a ranger. We'll move back to Fenna's turn, and she's going to go ahead and do a total of 2 movement. We're going to go ahead and check out this runestone and see if it's maybe something that 4 would like. Yes, it's yellow. So I think I'm going to pick it up, and then hopefully we can meet up with 4 and give it to her. It's 4's turn next. She's just going to use 1 movement, and she's going to move into where the merchant is. On the board, you'll see these icons. This means that we have a merchant here. So 4 can come here, and then as a free action at any time, even during other people's turns, she can buy certain things from the merchant. We can buy everything on this board except for what we have over here on the witch side at a merchant spot. But as you saw, we had to end our turn there. We can't run through it. So everything on here costs 2 gold. We just happen to have 2 gold from our starting. We got that for starting the game. The wineskin is just, I mean, getting free moves is so important in this game. And I think she's going to have to use it right away because it's going to fill up her inventory. But I think she's going to use the 2 gold that we have for that wineskin. For Pasco's turn, I think he is going to initiate a battle. Now, if he was a normal hero, he'd have to be in the same space. But since he has his bow, he can attack from range. So he's going to go ahead and attack this Gore. Now, if any other hero was on the space of that Gore, we could ask that hero to fight with us. But right now, it's only him. So we have to spend 1 hour to fight. Now, if we attack and don't defeat this Gore, we can spend another hour to continue fighting him until either we defeat him or he defeats us. We can also just stop combat after, let's say, 1 round, but then the Gore will heal to full, and so that's not very helpful. First thing you want to do is determine the strength of the enemy that you're fighting. Our Gore will have a total of 2 strength. When or if we defeat him, we'll gain 2 gold or 2 willpower. The Gore will also have a total of 4 willpower. Our goal is to get the willpower of the Gore down to 0. The Gore, because he's in this row, will roll 2 red dice, and he'll always take the highest result. However, with enemies, if you roll doubles, they will take doubles instead of whatever that highest die is. Pasco currently has 8 willpower points. That means he gets 4 dice, which is pretty awesome. What you do is you always start by rolling your dice first, then you follow with the enemy dice. Now, the kicker with Pasco is that he has to roll his dice 1 at a time. So I'll roll 1, and then I have to decide, do I want to roll the next one? Because I have to take whatever the last die that I rolled, I have to take that value. But I get 4 tries. And then what I'll do is whatever I roll with the total dice that I have here, I will add my strength point to it. We have our 4 dice. Let's start by rolling our first one. And we get a 5. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to keep that. So we've got 5 plus the 3. That means we have a total strength of 8. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use our Horned Falcon. Our Horned Falcon has a creature only roll 1 die no matter how many they normally would roll. So normally we would have 2 red dice for the Gore. This time we're only going to roll 1. And I rolled it off the board. Let me try this again. The dice are really light. Oh, that's a 1. Awesome. So we have a 1 plus their strength of 2. So we're going to have a comparison of 8 to 3. The difference of 8 to 3 is 5. So we just took out 5 willpower from that Gore, which means we just defeated him. We can either choose then 2 gold or 2 willpower. I'm definitely going to take the 2 gold. In this game, though, whenever you defeat enemies, you have to advance the narrator track. And you don't really want to do that. But I felt like it just gives me a little more leeway with the castle. And now we get to find out about the wolves. So let's go ahead and read the wolves card. Distant howls could be heard as packs of wolves swept across the land. They were not evil, just hungry. Determine the position of the alpha wolf, the black coat, by rolling a red die and adding 60 to the result of the roll. Roll a red die to determine the position of the 2 wolves, the gray coat, by adding 30 to the rolled result for the first wolf and 40 to the second. Wolves ignore the heroes, creatures, and other wolves on the same space. They can stand on the same space together. Farmers are killed by the wolves and then removed from the game. If a wolf reaches the castle, it is placed on the golden shield just like a creature, so we don't want them to go there. Roll a red die to determine the hour at which the wolves move, and position the wolf symbol on this space in the time track. Every time that a hero's time marker reaches this hour, he has to briefly interrupt his action to immediately move all wolves 1 space along the arrows. Note, if there are already time markers placed on this hour, nothing happens. Okay. Now continue reading from the wolf battle card. Only 1 hero can attack a wolf at one time. Attacking a wolf counts as a fight action. The battle value of a wolf is equal to the number of strength points of the hero times 4. Example, the hero has 2 strength points. That means the wolf has a battle value of 8. The wolf is only defeated if the hero has at least the battle value of the wolf in 1 battle round. For an example, the hero has 3 strength points. That means he has to attain a battle value of 12. The hero rolls a 5 with 1 hero die and uses the Witch's Brew, getting a 10 plus 3, his strength points. That means he has a total of 13. If the hero loses, he loses the difference in willpower points. A defeated gray wolf is removed from the game. This yields no reward, and the narrator does not advance. Important. When the hero defeats the alpha wolf, the wolf becomes tame. From that point on, the wolves support the heroes. As soon as that happens, continue reading the wolf's friend card. Oh, I need to take out the alpha wolf, but it's always 4 times the value of our strength. Holy moly. We have one regular wolf down here. We have the other regular wolf over here. And then, of course, the alpha is at 61, way over there. And, of course, I rolled a 4 for the time tracker. So that means every time one of us passes the 4 spot, they're all going to start moving towards the castle. So what I'm thinking is 4 here already has one of the gemstones. She can get the second one from Fenna over here. If I can find the third one quickly, we can leave her strength only at 2. That would mean that the alpha would be an 8. But then, if she's got all 3 of those, she can actually roll a black die and hopefully get high enough. So I think we're going to count on 4 here to take out that, or I guess I should say tame the alpha wolf. Fenna is next to go. I think what she's going to do is start off by using her raven. She can use her raven to uncover all covered tokens on any one space. We have a third gem here. We already have a yellow one and a green one. So I want to flip this one over. Oh, beautiful. It's blue. So that means she is going to use 2 time, 1, 2 to move here. But that's going to have her go past the wolf mark, which means all the wolves are going to move 1 space towards the castle. And I might as well move this one here since I'm already here, so he will move 1 space forward. Fenna moving up 2. She's at her hour 5. The other non-alpha wolf will move here, and remember, they're not considered a creature, so they can share the same space as a creature. Finally, we'll have the alpha move, and the alpha moves up this way, actually. I should mention that Fenna is going to go ahead and pick this up for sure. We now have 3 gemstones of 3 different colors. That's ridiculous and awesome. And I shouldn't call them gemstones, they're called runestones, because there are gemstones in the game, but those are not gemstones, those are runestones. 4 will go next. She's going to use 3 of her time, 1, 2, 3, to go ahead and move 3 spaces, but that does mean the wolves are taking another step towards the castle. We have this wolf moving across the bridge. This one will move over here to the tree, and this wolf is going to take another dangerous step towards the castle. 1, 2, 3 more steps, and we already have our first creature into the castle. But she can take 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and why I did that is because I want her to drink from the well to gain 3 more willpower points. Oh, and I forgot she had a wine skin. I need to remember that next time when I move. I can use that, and I really do want to use that because I need to have space to hold all 3 of those gemstones. Pasco is next. He's just going to use 1 time to move 1 space. He's looking for that witch. Hopefully he can find her. He's going to move here, and no, instead we're going to draw the top event card. So we'll draw this and see what it says. We have the royal falcons fly high above the land, keeping watch. The hero with the highest rank is allowed to take a look at the top card of the event card deck. Then he gets to decide whether to remove the card from the game or place it back in the box. The highest, I guess it doesn't really matter, it's 4, but since it's all me, it doesn't really matter. I'll draw this top card. Let's see what it is. We have Wisdom from the Tree of Songs. A hero who enters the Tree of Songs space or is already standing there gets 1 strength point. If more than 1 hero is standing there, then 1 with the highest rank gets a strength point. Now place this card on the space 57 until a hero has gotten the strength point, then remove it from the game. Oh, I like that. I'm going to definitely keep that on top. We'll move back to Fenna's turn. She's just going to do 1 action and move 1 space. We're going to have her move into the same space as 4, and then what we can do is we can drop our 2 gemstones here, which is exactly what we want to do. Now, I believe this is legal. You let me know if it's not, but I think it works. I'm going to go ahead and use our time token here, which allows us to move any one hero's time token 3 hours back. We're going to do that for Pasco, so he starts all the way at the beginning of his day. He also hasn't passed the wolf, so that means we haven't activated the wolf twice. Then, after doing that, we're going to drop both of these items in our space and go ahead and pick up the 2 other gemstones. But that means now we get to replace one of our red dice with a black die. This is going to provide Pasco with a full day's worth of actions, which is pretty cool. I mean, granted, all he's done is move 2 spaces, really, and do 1 combat. 4 hasn't even used her action yet, which is pretty cool. So she's going to go ahead and spend 2 time. That does mean she's going to have to move down her willpower by 2 to be able to move 2 spaces. Pushing ourselves to that 8th hour of the day makes us go 2 down onto our willpower points, but it allows us to do just a little bit more during the day. I love how you can try and push that, but then it's hurting your willpower because, you know, you do need to rest. We'll move for 2 spaces, 1, 2. We are now 1 away from this farmer, which I was thinking of having her pick up, but now I don't think so because I'm going to have her run and try and tame that alpha. So I think I'll have to have someone else to try and get that farmer. Now, farmers are a little bit different than other items on the board. You can actually move and pick up a farmer and continue your movement, no problem. So what I think I'm going to do with Pasco, I'm going to have him move 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up the farmer, or have the farmer move with him. 5, 6, 7, 8, and bring that farmer right into the castle. Now I have that wineskin, so I'm definitely going to use the wineskin for one of those so I don't have to use extra willpower because I get 1 free movement for that. But that does mean the wolves are going to have to move 1 space forward, but now we can have up to 3 creatures move into the castle without a problem. The 4th one will lose the game. I do also want to mention, we had to make sure that we did not walk into any location that had a creature in it. If ever a creature and the farmer are in the same space, even if a hero is there, that farmer dies. We have our wineskin. We'll flip it over because we used it for 1 of our movement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've used all 7 hours of our day, but then that way we have the farmer, and now the wolves are going to move. Since you can see the alpha will move here. And then both this wolf and this wolf will move. Oh man, they're getting too close to comfort, especially this one. Fenna will activate next, and she will do a single movement, but not before she picks up these 2 items that are on the board. With that 1 movement, let's move into this location with the Skrull. But remember, the Skrull isn't going to do anything with us unless we attack him. And then it's the question of, do I want to use this? I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to use both of them to get 2 additional movement. 1, 2 to get myself over here by the merchant. I don't have any money, but that allows me to be a little bit more in the center of the board should anything happen. We'll move to 4's turn, and she's going to go ahead and call it for the end of the day. That means she's going to place her time token in the rooster box. She'll be the first one to go the next round. Now the other 2 are also going to rest, so we'll just place them here, but we know 4 is first, followed by Pasco, and then Fenna for the next round. Since all of our tokens are in the sunrise box, we now need to activate the enemies. What we do is we first draw an event card. We know what that event card is going to be. We've already seen it. I'm just going to place that onto space 57. Okay, and someone who goes there will get a strength point. That's great. Then what we do is we activate all the enemies in this order, starting with the Gors, then the Skrulls, then the Wardraks, then the Trolls, then the Wardraks again. They get to move 2 times. Then we replenish all the wells, which I'm going to do now. If any of the wells, there was one of our heroes standing on it, it would not refresh. But none of our heroes are standing on them, so I'm going to refresh all the wells. And then we move the narrator up 1 space, which means we'll move to spot C, and we'll have to draw another Legends card. The important thing you need to know about enemy movement is that if ever an enemy would move into a space that another enemy is already at, so for an example, this one needed to move here, it will actually jump over him and move to the next spot. And how you know how enemies move is you always go from the lowest number to the highest looking at the spaces. So this one is number 10. We'd move that one before number 34. Of course, those are 2 different enemy types, so we've got to do the Gors first and so on and so forth. So I'll go ahead and move all the enemies on the board, and you can see what it looks like in just a second. We've now moved all the enemies. This looks a little bit scary. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies coming in here. Remember, I can only have 3 to get into the castle. Part of the reason why I have Pasco here in case I need to pick one of them off. Hopefully not the wolf. Then what we'll do is we'll simply move our narrator up 1 space to space C, and let's go ahead and read that Legends card. Roll a red die and a hero die to determine the position of 2 face-down medicinal herb tokens. Another Skrull was spotted. Oh, I don't like Skrulls. 1 hero rolls 1 red die and reads the following. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yet the actual threat was only now revealed. The hero rolls a red die. The rolled number indicates which of the 6 threat cards the heroes will have to defeat. Read this entire card before reading the threat card. So what we have here, our Legends goals is defend the castle, complete the prince's task, and fend off the threat. When the threat has been fended off, the narrator is immediately moved to the end space. So we don't, from what I understand, we need to do the threat, but we need to do it at the end. Because if we do the prince task or the threat first, it says here when it's fended off, we immediately move to the end space. And so if we need to do all 3, yeah, I think we need to do princes first before the threat. Now read the threat card determined by your roll. Let's see where we're going to place the medicinal herbs. We'll place one in 21 and the other in 36. We'll then place a scroll in location 36 as well. And then finally, to determine what our threat will be, it'll be number 5. Granolin the Bard approached one of the heroes. There was a gigantic being that came in the gray of the early morning, speaking an unknown tongue. Before we knew what happened, it grabbed several of our people and made off with them. It escaped towards the south, I believe. Place the Cradare, I don't know how to say that, on space 68. If there's already a creature on this space, it's removed from the game. Place 2 farmer tokens on the space with the Cradare. The Cradare and the farmer tokens move together at sunrise, but to the adjacent space with the highest number rather than along the arrows. In other words, farther and farther into the mountains. This happens whenever the wells are refreshed. To keep this violent being from doing harm to the farmers, the heroes had to learn more about the new adversary. Might the Keeper of the Tree of Songs have some advice? The heroes have to free the farmers by defeating the Cradare before the narrator reaches the end space. Place a star on the Tree of Songs. Hey, we were going to go there anyway, space 57, and get the Melkar Advice clue card ready. Read this card aloud when a hero is standing on space 57. Cradare is way over here, and you can see he's actually going to go backwards and try and go all the way to spot 84, which looks like a tunnel, and basically take our poor peasants there. Yeah, we don't want that. We were planning on going over to the tree anyhow, so now we have even more of a reason to go over there. I don't quite even know how to defeat the Cradare. I'm assuming that we really need to go to the tree to figure that out. 4 will be first this round. She's going to use 5 time, which does mean the wolves are going to take 1 step forward, but that actually helps us. The alpha wolf will take a step over here to 47, and the 2 gray wolves will each take 1 step forward. This one is literally 1 space away from jumping into the castle. That 5 time, though, means we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get ourselves in the same space as that alpha. Next turn, we can then try and tame the alpha, which will be great. But that means both Pasco and Fenna cannot use 4 time this round. Pasco, I think, will use 1 time, and he's going to go ahead and try and attack this gore that's 1 space away. He can do that again because he has his bow. And remember, all of your items are going to refresh, so he's planning on using this falcon a second time so that that gore can only roll 1 die. Remember, the gore has 4 willpower points and 2 strength. So we get to roll 4 dice for Pasco. We'll start with that's a 6. I mean, you can't get better than a 6 plus a 3. That means we have a 9 for our strength. And we're going to compare that to a 2, and we're going to roll 1 die. That's a 3. I mean, that is not how this game normally goes, from what I understand. It's usually not that easy to kill enemies. We just totally annihilated that gore like nobody's business. And I think we're going to gain 2 more gold. That's going to give us a total, because we had 1 from before. We gained 2 from the last kill. We're now going to have 5 gold. But as you just saw, we did have to move the narrator up to spot D. Fenna's going to go ahead and spend 1 time to simply move 1 space. She's going to move from here to here, and she can flip over this medicinal herb. That's a 3. She's definitely going to pick that up. Now, medicinal herbs can be used in 3 different ways. You can use it to move the amount of spaces indicated by the number here without having to use time, which is awesome. You can also use it to raise your willpower points by that amount. And finally, you can use it right after you roll your hero dice to add it to your hero dice value. So if I rolled a 4, I could use 3 here to make it a 7. That's pretty cool. We'll then move to 4, and 4 will go ahead and try and tame that wolf. So the strength value of the wolf is 2 times 4, which is 8. Looking at 4's board, we get to roll 2 dice, so I'll roll 1 black and 1 red. So it's red, but you see how it has black pips instead of white? That will denote that it's her hero dice instead of the enemy dice. I'll take the higher value and then add it to my strength of 2. And like I said, the wolf's value is 8 compared to our 2. I think we're pretty much a shoo-in here. Let's give the 2 dice a roll, and we rolled an 8 here, plus the 2 is 10. We just tamed the wolf. The wolf sniffed cautiously at the hero who ruffled its shaggy coat. From now on, they would fight side by side. The wolf's strength. The hero who tames the alpha wolf is the wolf's friend. They take the wolf symbol from the time track and place it above the cube marking their strength point on their hero board. That will mark the wolf's strength for the rest of the game. Even if his own strength points still increase, the wolf remains at the same level. If a hero other than the wolf's friend attacks an opponent and there's a wolf on the opponent's space, this wolf adds as many extra strength points as indicated by the wolf symbol on the wolf's friend's hero board. Oh, bummer. I should have gone higher. So their strength is only going to be 2. For example, the wolf symbol is at the 3 strength point, wolf strength of 3. In a battle, in other words, the wolf would add 3 extra strength points to the hero's total. If there are 2 wolves on the opponent's space, they will add 6. Awesome. Moving the wolves. The wolf friend can move the wolves freely by using the new move wolf action when it is their turn. The hero can move 1 wolf up to 4 spaces for 1 hour on the time track. They can move 1 wolf several times and or several wolves in sequence before the next hero's turn. Well, it's good to know for future games you want to push this up a little bit higher, but still, the wolves helping us at a 2, that's awesome. And now we don't need to worry about that 1 wolf that almost went into the castle. Turns out he's a friend, thank goodness. Pasco is next. He's going to use 3 time to go ahead and move to the merchant. This means we can spend some of that money, 1, 2, 3, and increase our strength a little bit. We had a total of 5 money. I'm going to use 4 money, so I have 1 left, so that I can increase my strength by 2. So we went from a 3 to a 5 for our strength. It's Fenna's turn. First thing we're going to do at the beginning of her turn is use the hourglass and push 4's time tracker 3 spaces back. We're also going to flip this so we can reveal 1 token on the board. We'll give her a little extra time during the day, which is great, and I'm realizing before we flip anything else, on 4's turn, she ended in this location. She needed to reveal this token. Yeah, we're going to have to draw another event card. Let's see what we find. Oh no, a farmer falls ill. 1 farmer token on the board that has not yet been taken to the castle must be removed from the game. We can prevent this by paying gold and our willpower points. I don't want to. A gore was going to go into his space anyways at the end of this round. I don't think I was going to get to him, so let's just remove him. Let's go ahead and reveal one of these other fog tokens, maybe one that's all the way over here. Ooh, this one would just give us 2 willpower points. So I can leave that face up to remind myself. Oh, and that's space 64. Cool. And I think Fenna's going to go ahead and move there. She's got 5 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she can move 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 to move here. She's almost falling out of her base. And that means, since we're there, we get to read the card about the clue of where the prince is, and we'll also gain 2 willpower points. She's probably not the best one to gain the willpower points, because the max dice she can roll is only 2. It'd really be Pasco, but whatever. Fenna entered the humble country cottage. The countrywoman seemed worried. She hadn't seen Prince Thorald for a long time either. One hero rolls 1 red die and reads below what happens. Let's roll our die, and we get a 4. So that's down here. I'm afraid that my prince has fallen victim to the dwarves' heavy ale. Oh no. Place a star on the mine of the shield dwarves, space 71. A hero who is standing on the mine space and sacrifices 6 willpower points, hey, that could be Fenna, can uncover one of the parchments on the legends track without waiting. The sum of all the numbers on the parchments yields the number of the space where the prince can be found. Important. When the prince is found, he must still be moved to the castle. The prince cannot be moved to the castle by the move prince action the way he can in the basic game. He can only be moved by being carried along by one of the hero figures. In this legend, the prince cannot be used in battle to help the heroes. Yeah, he's drunk. How could he? Space 71 actually is not too far from where Fenna is, so that's actually pretty nice. I think it only makes sense that 4 spends 2 actions, or 2 time, to move herself over here to spot 57. First of all, she'll gain 1 strength point, so she'll go to strength point 3 because of the blessing of the tree song, and then we can read our card to learn a little bit more about our threat. Craters, said Melkart. We were afraid that they might come here one day. Fear of the dragon kept them away. They are the rulers of the southern lands out of which Bondur fled long ago. Craters use cruel chains that become tighter and tighter the more you try to loosen them. To free the farmers, you will need this key. The hero standing in the Tree of Song space, which is 4, will go ahead and get the article key, and that is this, I believe. And it says here, the key is placed on the hero's board in the same space where gold is also deposited, so we don't have to worry about not having enough space, because technically we're totally full with those gemstones. The crater has 10 willpower points and rolls 2 black dice. Identical dice values are added together. If the crater no longer has 7 willpower points and only uses 1 black die, its strength points will vary according to the number of heroes attacking it. For each hero who attacks the crater has 10 strength points. So 10 strength points for 1 or 40 for 4. Tamed wolves can support the heroes, and they can also be on the same space as the farmers without the farmers being harmed. The heroes must defeat the crater before the narrator reaches the end space. One of the heroes taking part of the battle against the crater must have the key on their hero dashboard. So right now 4 has to be a part of that. When the crater's defeated, we immediately move to the end space. This legend is starting to come together. I love it. We've got the prince who's a drunkard that we have to go and carry his carcass, not his carcass, but his drunken butt back to the castle. And then we have to go and take care of something that he can't take care of himself, which is that crater. And we have to go over there, defeat him, hopefully using the wolves to help us. So Pasco, I think, is just going to use 2 hours of his day to go ahead and check out another fog token. A lot of the fog tokens are helpful. Some of them will spawn more enemies. So I'm taking a risk, but I don't actually know what I really want to do with Pasco. I kind of want to keep him over here in case we get too many enemies. But he's also pretty strong, so I don't know. We get +1 willpower point. That'll put us at, or not willpower, that's strength. +1 strength, that'll put us at 6 strength in total. Fenna is then going to go ahead and use 2 hours of her day, 1 here and then 1. She's going to go down by 2 willpower, but she'll be able to move 2 spaces. She'll take that 2 willpower hit, but remember, she still has her flute. And we always have this if we need to for additional movement. She'll go ahead and move 2, and I'm realizing I should have said 3. I'm going to have her do the 3. That means she's on her 9th hour of the day. I'm going to have her take another 2 willpower hits for that, but I thought she could move through here. No, she has to move around. That means she'll lose another 2 willpower. Then we're going to have Fenna give up 6 willpower points so we can reveal one of those parchment tokens and find out where did that drunkard prince go. 6 willpower points is brutal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's only at 3. But she can use her flute, flip that over. She'll roll one of these dice and gain that amount of willpower. She rolled a 1 last time. This time she rolls a 4. That is way better. She'll move herself 1, 2, 3, 4 back up to 7. We now get to reveal one of these parchment tokens, and we have number 10. So he's going to be in spot 10. That actually isn't too far away from the castle. That's pretty good. I think we know what Pasco's going to be doing. He is going to be escorting the prince back to the castle. 4 will go ahead and then use 2 of her hours to move the wolves 8 spaces. We're going to start moving ourselves into position to take out that Kradir, or whatever the name is. So this wolf can move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's only 2 spaces away. And this wolf over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. Pascal has 1 free hour left in the day. He'll go ahead and use it just to move 1 space. Why do I have to be the designated driver? He'll move here. You know, he's been running back and forth between the castle anyway, so might as well have him go again. I think at this point we're all going to end our day, starting with Fenna, and then both of these will move back over here, so it'll be Fenna, 4, and Pasco for the next round. We'll now draw our event card, and then we'll move everything, including we're going to move that Kradir 1 space away when we refresh our wells. The minstrels sing a ballad about the deeds of the heroes, strengthening their determination. Yeah, you know, Pasco, get that prince. On this day, the 8th hour costs no willpower points. Oh, awesome. Place this card above the overtime area of the time track. At the end of the day, it's removed. Wow, I have only really seen good events. I don't think, it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure half of those are bad events, so I'll take it. I'll go ahead and move all of the enemies. Remember, we're doing Gores first, followed by Scrolls, and then we have our Troll, and then finally the Kradir is going to move 1 step away. We've moved all of the enemies, and you're going to see this Troll, look, he was all the way over here, but then because we had to move the Gore here, and then the Scroll moved to here, when the Troll tried to move, he moved to here, then he jumps to here, then he jumped to here. So yeah, next round, we're going to have a Troll inside of the castle, and we did already get our first enemy, this Gore, into the castle, so we can only allow 2 more enemies. And next round, we're going to have 3 enemies get into the castle, so I'm going to definitely, Pasco's going to be busy. Kradir also moved, he's on space 69, and now we have to move up our narrator track to spot E. Let's go ahead and start that next round with Fenna. I have a plan. Let's see if it works. We need to have Pasco take out one of these enemies here. His strength is 6, so he's most likely able to defeat one of these enemies. And he's probably the strongest one to be able to take out the Cradair as well. So my plan is to bring Fenna over here. We're going to attack an enemy maybe together or whatever. After that, then we'll have Pasco run over here, meet up with the wolves, and meet up with 4. 4 will give him the key. He can go and attack that Cradair, because then his strength will only be 10, and try and take him out with the wolves' help. That's the hope. So, but the first thing I'm going to do for Fenna's turn is I'm going to use her Raven. Let's go ahead and flip over this fog token. Ooh, okay, so this one would be an enemy. Let's definitely not end our turn at that location. We're going to spend 5 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to move ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now in the same space as Pasco. Then what we can do is we can use our flute, and we can each gain willpower equal to whatever we roll on our die. We're hoping for a high number here. That's a 3. That's not terrible, but could have been better. That means Pasco's at 11 and Fenna is at 10. 4 is going to go ahead and use 3 hours to move the wolves a total of 12 spaces. We're going to move this wolf 1, 2, 3, 4, because I'm not thinking I'm going to take this Cradair out this round. I'm hoping to do it next round. So when he moves to here, perfect spot. Then we have 8 more movement for this wolf. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this wolf is also in this spot. This way we'll get a +4 if we can fight him when he's in this location. As much as taking out a troll would be pretty cool, they only have 14 strength and a total of 12 willpower. Yeah, I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to be smart. I have this wolf here that happens to be in the same space as his gore. So Pasco is going to move 1, 2. He has to move 2 spaces to get adjacent. And then next round, he can go ahead and attack this gore and then start running. Fenna will go next. She'll use her 3 free time. Remember, we get our free time for day 8 to move 3 spaces. We're going to move 1, 2, and then I believe we can start carrying that prince here to 3. And we're going to have to wait till the next day to bring him back to the castle. Moving to 4's turn, we're just going to use 1 of our time to move here and pick up these mushrooms. Remember, these mushrooms are considered like coins, so we get 1 coin, but we cannot use it at spot 57. We have to use it at spot 71 or 18, because they don't normally get mushrooms, so I'm assuming that picking those mushrooms means that we bring them to them and they go, ooh, we'd like some mushrooms. We'll make it worth at least 1 coin. Pasco is next. Let's go ahead and do that attack. Remember, he gets +2 strength because there's a wolf in that location. Pasco still only gets to roll 4 dice. He'll start with his first one. Yeah, we'll take a 6. 6 plus our 6 is 12, plus the 2 more from the wolf is 14. We are going to use the falcon. So the gore only rolls 1 die, and he rolls a 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 14 to the 8 is still a 6 willpower loss for the gore, which means we just killed the gore. Seriously, I've never had it this easy. So we'll gain 2 coins again so that we can get maybe another strength point, and then we'll move the narrator up 1 spot. I mean, Pasco has a pretty awesome bow, if you ask me. And we only taken out this entire game 3 gores. That's it. Oh yeah, and we did defeat the wolf, or tame him as well. At the beginning of Fenna's turn, she's going to use the hourglass to push Pasco back 3 spaces. And then I think she's just going to end her day. I don't think she's going to do anything else, so she'll be the first one to go next round. We'll then have 4 go, and I'm realizing that 4 should have gained 3 willpower points, so she'll move from 9 to 12, and then she's going to use 1 time to simply move here. She's just going to slowly pick up these mushrooms. She's getting another coin. We'll then have Pasco use 5 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to go ahead and move over to this spot. He can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that way he can pick up these mushrooms for a coin, and he's probably going to ask 4 to give him the other mushrooms so he can run down to spot 71, get some more strength points, and then maybe even next round we can take out that Cradair. And I'm realizing I forgot to show you, this is worth 2 gold. 4 will do exactly what we were saying. We'll spend 2 time to have her move here. She's then going to drop the key as well as all of her mushrooms. This means at the beginning of Pasco's turn, he can pick these all up. Beautiful. then he does have one more use of his wineskin. So he's going to use that plus the 3 free time that he has to move. This will push him all the way up to the 8, and we're using up that wineskin. 4 spaces is not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're literally 1 away. I might spend the 2 willpower, and I think I'm going to. I'm going to spend the 2 willpower actually to move 1 more so we can get right into here and spend all of our money for some willpower. And of course, by willpower, I mean strength. We're going to go here and push our willpower from 11 down to 9. I don't know if this Kader knows what's going to hit him here. We've got 2, 4, 5, 6. So we can increase our strength by 3. 1, 2, 3. We're at 9 now. Wow, that's kind of insane. Now, it would have been smart to have 4 drop all of these as well so that he could have picked up the black die, but I didn't do that, so that's on me. This is going to cost 4 willpower points, but she's going to move 3 spaces. 4 willpower, 1, 2, 3, 4, will put her down to 8, but then that way she can drop these in her location when she moves the 3 spaces. And I should say with those 3 spaces, she's going to end where a well is, so she'll regenerate 3 out of the 4 of that willpower. We're going to have her move 1, 2, 3 here to use the well, and then she's going to drop all of these here. That means Pasco can pick that up. He'll roll a black die for his first die, which probably means he won't roll any of the other ones because the highest he'll ever get on a d6 is a 6, and that's the lowest number on the black die. Wow. And he's got the Horned Falcon. I mean, this was random, but I do feel like we were set up perfectly for this scenario. Pasco will go ahead and end his day, followed by 4 will also. So that means we will be drawing our next event card, and then we will move all of our enemies. We have Rampaging Creatures despoil the well at the foot of the mountains. The well token on space 45 is removed from the game. Huh, that's right where 4 is. We weren't going to refresh that anyways, so that'll just be removed from the game. Well, that was quite an enjoyable round. Let's go ahead and do all of our enemy movements. And I'm a little bit worried, you guys. I might have made a fatal error. Let's see. So first the Gores are going to move. And I missed this. This Gore is going to get into the castle. That's our second one. Then the Scrolls are going to move. This Scroll is going to move into the castle. And this Scroll, how did I miss this? Is going to move into the castle. That's going to make us lose right there. Oh, come on. I was so ready, because then also the Troll's going to move in there. I should have taken out the Scroll instead of the Gore. That is totally on me. Oh man, that's poor planning, because I actually felt like I was really well prepared to take out the Kader this round and could have maybe even won the game. But instead, no, I just lost. So that is one thing, you guys. When you're playing this game, make sure to watch the enemies. I had that stack and I thought, yep, I just wasn't thinking. So unfortunately, we just lost the game. We did not defend the castle. Fenna's over here going, wait, what happened to all those enemies? I was still trying to bring the prince. Yeah, and this one would have moved here. But yeah, bummer. Regardless, though, I actually had so much fun with this game. I am probably going to immediately set this up and play it again because that's how much I enjoyed it. So I have to say I'm liking it a lot more. But I will say if you want to defeat enemies, this game is not for you. If you are looking for a game where you're just moving around taking out enemies, it's pretty straightforward. Not for you. This is definitely a puzzle game. I mean, I don't think, except for Pasco. Oh yeah, and 4 did attack one time. But Fenna didn't even do any attacking. So if you were playing this not solo and you were playing Fenna, yeah, you might have been a little bit more, well, I don't know, bored, or you wouldn't have been doing much. And so that's something to note. You really you have to make the best choice for the entire team, not just for your hero, which is cool. And I really enjoy that from a solo perspective. But from a cooperative perspective, if you really want to feel like, oh, I just want to go and kill enemies, you really can't in this game. But yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see another one. I'm thinking I could even do this scenario again and do a different one. Or I could do one from the Journeys of the North. I heard that one's pretty fun too. So let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you at the next stop.